Hey gang, welcome back. I hope everybody's having a good day. It's a hot day here in Tennessee. I think the heat index is around 96 or so right now. It's not too bad out here in the barn. Got a little bit of a breeze coming through. We've got some good news today for like-minded people. A federal judge has struck down the Title IX argument about the man and the woman. They said you don't get Title IX protection, that there's just two sexes, a man and a woman. Who would have thought that? So you're either a man or you're a woman. So that's some good news for today. We ain't been doing a lot here. Been picking some green beans, getting ready to can them, doing all we can do to prepare for things that could be coming. I hope all y'all's doing the same thing. You know the ATF that tries to create laws without going through Congress? Well, they're banned on bump stocks. It got thrown out as well. The Supreme Court ruled on it. Said that putting a bump stock on your semi-automatic didn't change it being a semi-automatic. These people trying to rule with the pen, they can't think past the tip of their nose. They just want to make up laws and force you and me to follow them. Or that's the way it looks anyway. So that was a little bit of good news that come out today. And seems like good news is hard to find sometimes. Especially when you put God and your country first. Because it seems like so much of America now wants America to be last. And that just don't sit well with a lot of folks. I'm one of them. There's not a whole lot we can do as one person, but we can spread the word. And if everybody starts getting involved, we can change the way things are going. I don't think one man voted into a position is going to completely turn around and save the country. It's still going to fall on your shoulders and mine. We have all got a part to play in rebuilding this country and turning it back towards God. In my opinion, whenever they started throwing God out, is whenever the country started going to hell in a handbasket, I guess is how we would say it around here. What do y'all think about that? I think we all need to get more motivated and more involved. And as far as prepping goes, I hope everybody is preparing, putting back things that you might need in the future. Right now, today, in my opinion, food is cheaper than it's going to be this time next year. I wished I had a list here of some food items and we could look at it again in 1 year and see how much it's changed. But I'm going to bet that 1 year from today, what you will buy will be probably at least 10% higher. I know in the last few years things has went up way more than 10%. I don't know where they get their figures at. They figure on things that common folks don't buy. I think if they figured what it takes like a normal household, I believe inflation would be probably in the double digits. Way in the double digits. Probably around 25 to 30% if they figured it on things that you and I buy. But they don't do that. As soon as the item starts inflating, it seems like they kind of drop it off their list. They don't figure it much no more. There's a little bit of bad news came out the last few days also. I don't know if y'all saw it or not, but Saudi Arabia, they didn't renew the contract. I think it was in the 70s, Saudi Arabia signed a contract with the U.S. that all oil purchases would be done with the U.S. dollar. Well, that contract ran out a few days ago. I can't tell you exactly the date, but as of me making this video, Saudi Arabia hadn't renewed that contract. So they're willing to sell their oil in other currencies. And I'm thinking that BRICS, I think that's the name of it. I'm not positive. Don't hold me to that. But anyway, they're creating another currency. And I think it's going to be backed by gold. So I'm assuming that Saudi Arabia is willing to sell their oil in other currencies, not just the U.S. dollar. Now, I don't know about OPEC. I don't know if they're selling their oil in other currencies beside the dollar or not. But Saudi Arabia not renewing that contract is a pretty big deal. I don't know if y'all have heard it or not, but all my life I've heard that it's the petrodollar. It's the petrodollars. Well, now you really can't say that. So what is our dollar backed by now? You couldn't really say it's backed by production because we don't produce a whole lot here in the U.S. anymore. Back in World War II, that's what, in my opinion, won World War II was the production of America. They just produced so much. The tanks that they produced, from what I understand, wasn't as good a quality as the German tanks. But the Germans would produce one tank, and America would produce like 5 to 10 to their one. So, I mean, it was just, even though it wasn't as good, they was just flooding them with them. So that production is what really helped win that war. And the way things look now, if we go into a war, what are we going to do for our production? The countries that we could be at war with, like China, they're taking over the production. They produce a lot more than we do now. Mostly all junk, but they still producing it. So if we go to war with them, where is our production line going to start at? The American people will have to start back working in factories and things to get production up, and that takes years. But anyway, I need to get back on topic. I kind of got drugged down the rabbit hole there when I got to talking about the petrodollar. Just do all you can do with what you have. Like I'm picking green beans right now. We're going to be breaking them this evening, putting them in jars and canning them. Those green beans that we put in those cans, I'll be eating those green beans 6, 7 years from now. I've eaten them up to 8 and 9 years later, and they would still be good. They don't hold as much nutrition, but they will still fill your stomach up. And they still good beans, or at least I'm still here, I ate them. I don't know what's really going on with Russia. They were off our west coast, I think down around Hawaii, or off the coast of California, just, I don't know, a month or so ago. And now they're within 25 miles of Florida. So they've been off our west coast and they've been off our east coast. I reckon they're docked in Cuba right now. Putin may be taking a vacation. He's vacating to Cuba. Russia has a missile called the Poseidon. And I can't tell you all about it now. I researched it some probably a year or so ago. But this missile that they have can be fired from submarines, I think is what it is. And it's a nuclear-armed missile, from best I remember. And it explodes in the ocean off the coast. And it creates a giant tidal wave that will just cover the land. Well, if they've done been off our east coast and off the west coast, could they be planning something like that? I don't really think so. But it's a thought that can get thrown around in your head when you know they have the kind of weapon that can do that. Or at least they say they can. So there's all kinds of things out here for us to be getting prepared for. And don't be afraid. If you have fear, my suggestion to you would be to read the Bible and get to know God. If you do that, a lot of the fear will leave you. We just need to try to be prepared to take care of our families no matter what comes. And like I was talking about in the beginning, we know food's going to be higher, and that's probably going to be the biggest disaster to come to us, is the high prices of food. All these other goods, you can work around them. You can't work around feeding yourself, or water, or air. Those are the three things you have to have. You have to have air, you have to have water, and you have to have food. And if we can do what we can do to prepare for those three things and survive what's coming, we'll be the ones that are better off coming out on the other side of it. Well, I thank y'all for watching. I pray God blesses you, and I'll see you in the next one.